Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia. Thank you, and wow. I am so honored to be here. This is my second trip to Brazil in less than a year. And let me tell you, I couldn't come back soon enough. In fact, this is the only country outside the US that I've been able to visit since becoming CEO of Out and Equal. So no one mention it to the other 158 countries that we work with, okay? Secret. Before I get too far into my remarks, I want to take a moment to thank our incredible sponsors who have helped make this event possible today. Our incredible presenting sponsor, Itaú Unibanco. Thank you. Our executive sponsors, Dell and JP Morgan, and our leadership sponsors, Ambev, Citi, Matos Filho, Salesforce, and Sodexo. I also want to thank our brilliant planning committee, an amazing group of Brazilian leaders in LGBT diversity and inclusion who joined us, helped us, and guided us every step of the way in creating this incredible event that you're experiencing today. I also want to recognize one of Out and Equal's amazing board members, Donna Rose, and an executive with American Airlines who has traveled all the way from the US to be with us today. And finally, I want to thank my incredible, talented, and hardworking staff, Steve Roth and Stevie Veverito, who lead our global work, as well as Kira, Madison, and Alyssa. This event would not have happened without you. Thank you. We're joining you in a new moment for your country. I remember the months following the election in the US and how uncertainty and anxiety filled our community. What new fights may lie ahead? How will we protect progress? Where will we find sanctuary? I know many of you may be asking the same questions, and I want you to know, no matter what the answers are, Out and Equal will be with you as you navigate this new landscape. We see you, we are you, we will stand with you. I know you will get through this, and you will be stronger, more united, and braver than you have ever been. Because I know our community is resilient. Through 40 years of LGBT movement in Brazil, with many ups and downs, our community's unshakable resilience has been the cornerstone of every hard-won victory. Especially when times are tough, sometimes we just need to be reminded that it does get better. In fact, we're thrilled to have the Brazilian It Gets Better organization here with us at the Brazil Fórum today. And if you'd like to send a message of hope to millions of young LGBT Brazilians, you can record a video with them at their booth in the foyer later today. I know that you, our partners, will stand with us. Out and Equal works with 1,000 companies in Brazil and around the world, organizations that have been working with us to create LGBT inclusion in the workplace long before it was popular. And I know that we will all continue to work together should this work become unpopular again. I know that inclusion matters. I know that when people are able to bring their authentic selves to work, that we are all made better, that our companies are made stronger, and that Brazil is better off too. I also know that the staggering rate of violence against transgender people in Brazil must be addressed, and that discrimination against the LGBT people in the workplace cannot go on. I know that as long as people all over Brazil and around the world have to choose between who they are and the career they love, that we must continue this work. I know that our work is necessary and immediate. I know that Brazilians believe in the principles of equality, and that companies that do good also do well. I know that we are our best selves when we are working together, and I know that we can count on you to join us in this work, and that's why you're here with us today. I hope you know that you can always count on us. Out and Equal will be there for you, for your company, for our entire community, both in Brazil and around the world. I am deeply honored and proud to recall that earlier this year, we gathered 27 Brazilian and multinational companies in public support of inclusion and respect for LGBT people in the workplace in Brazil. This statement, issued publicly more than a month in advance of Brazil's presidential election, called on all presidential candidates to publicly state their support for inclusion for LGBT people in the workplace because it's the right thing to do, it's good for companies, and it's good for Brazil. If you work for a company who signed that statement, will you please stand? Obrigado. Thank you. You are the advocates that drove these statements. You are the leaders who brought your company along this journey. This was the first time that major corporations have publicly weighed in to show their support for LGBT inclusion in this way, and I'm so proud of you. Although I've been on board at Out and Equal for less than a year, I've already gotten a chance to know some incredible Brazilians who are really making a difference for LGBT inclusion and are changing the world around them. Tiago Marinho, a customer success manager at Salesforce here in São Paulo, just completed 6 weeks with us at Out and Equal in San Francisco as part of our global fellowship program. As the only Out employee at Salesforce in Brazil, Tiago decided to launch the first local chapter of Outforce, Salesforce's LGBT ERG. But he didn't stop there. Realizing that he needed to learn how to connect and build empathy with other Salesforce employees throughout the office and around the company, he decided to develop an ally engagement program. He started reaching across groups to engage women with disabilities and others, looking for similarities and common ground rather than differences. Along with Tiago, we also welcomed Ananda Pushta as an Out and Equal Global Fellow. Ananda is a trailblazing attorney fighting for all of our civil rights. Through her work, she has argued in the Brazilian court for the right of transgender Brazilians to legally change their names, and now she's working to increase connections and collaboration between corporations and LGBT NGOs in Brazil. And I could not tell this story, the story of this powerful movement in Brazil, without telling the story of an ally, Jose Beringer, who is not just the president of JP Morgan Brazil, although wouldn't that be enough just to say that? No, he is also one of the most prominent financial leaders in Latin America. And Jose is also one of the most committed senior allies I've ever met. When we first got to know each other earlier this year, he shared with me his own personal journey towards embracing inclusion. It began when one of his employees at the time, and my board member, Ken Janssens, came out to him and asked to launch a Pride ERG at JP Morgan Brazil. It made Jose think in a different way about his employees and the hidden challenges they may face. And it launched him on a path of allyship that he's on today. Not only does Jose give his full and enthusiastic support to JP Morgan's Pride Network, he's also marched in the São Paulo Pride Parade with his daughter. But in the ultimate act of allyship, it was at that same meeting where the idea of the Brazil letter was born. And Jose, I want to thank him personally and Ken for that. This was really born at that meeting. I really love that story because this is at the very heart of our work, a brave and talented leader who comes out and someone in their workplace who supports them. We're talking a lot about belonging this year, the science and sociology behind healthy and positive corporate culture. But that story, that really is belonging. Someone who shares themselves and someone else embraces them and then goes on to fully embody this value of equality in small and significant ways. But the most powerful part of belonging is that it's something all of us can do. It does not only live with HR or senior leaders, it lives with each of us. Belonging is what we do for each other when our company is not looking. If you hear your elected political leaders tell our community that we don't belong, decide instead that you do. You belong at work, you belong at home, you belong in Brazil. Earlier this year, when I hosted a town hall meeting with many of you at Itaú's Kubo space, I spoke about seeing you in all of your dimensions of diversity, and with all of your passion, hope, and strength. Do some of you remember the Ubuntu greeting from South Africa? When a friend sees another friend on the street, in a greeting, they say, "Sawubona," which means, "I see you." And their friend replies, "Sikona," which means, "Because you see me, I exist." I love this greeting because it reminds me of our interdependence. We cannot do this alone, and we shouldn't, because we are stronger together. But today I want to share about where I see you, because place is important. We are multifaceted, diverse people who call many spaces in time and location and memory home. And each one of us is a traveler who should greet each other as people in shared community, as people in grief, in love, and in hope, as coworkers and friends, strangers and family, as Brazilians, as humans, as people who love each other, uplift each other, see each other. And while you are seeing yourselves, know that I see you too. I see you at work. I see you asking pronouns and wearing rainbow lanyards and keeping your pride flags up even when Pride Month is over. I see you reimagining your ERGs to include all of us. I see you caring for your coworkers and creating workplaces of belonging. I see you at church, and I see you at the temple, and in the mosque, and in the gym. I see you in all of your places of worship. I see you going to places you were once told you didn't belong, and I see you there making sure that no one else ever feels that way. I see you on the battlefield. I see you using your voice to create change and drive progress. I see you standing up in the face of hate crimes and for a change in leadership, and I can see you fighting. I see you in my rearview mirror. I see you as the pioneer that you are. I see you when you were starting your first ERG in Brazil, and I see you when you were nervous and shaking as you first came out. I see you as you are now, and I see you for who you were then. I see you in the embrace. I see you seeking connection and yearning for community. I see you finding each other, holding each other, and living in this heart space that is overflowing with love and tenderness. I see you in your kindness and the time you spend after a long, hard day at work, teaching English or interviewing skills at Casa Un to a young transgender person who has been kicked out of their home or beaten on the street. I see you on the playground. I see you creating art and making music. I see you celebrating at our bars, dancing at our clubs, and laughing in the streets. I see your joyfulness, and I am uplifted by it. I see you when you don't know I'm looking. I see you when you're lonely and unsure. I see you even when you don't feel seen. And I see you there because I was there, because I have felt the isolation of the closet and the darkness of fitting in without belonging. As we celebrate 40 years of LGBT movement in Brazil, and we will reflect on this more during our incredible panel at lunchtime, I'm reminded of a famous quote from your national LGBT treasure, João Silvério Trevisan. He said, "Each experience of life is personal, non-transferable, and unrepeatable. We, the LGBT community, have made many strides, but we still have many challenges. We are teaching about love, and we are like fireflies in the dark." We are living in a time that requires tremendous courage, and people are able to be courageous when they know they belong. So make this pledge with me today. Pledge to believe in your own belonging. You are bigger than what is out there. What is inside you, there is a light that will draw in others and outshine the darkness. You are worthy, you are whole, and you are seen. You belong. You are about to embark on an incredible journey today, For some of you, it's a continuation, and for some, it's a magical moment that starts right now this morning. You will leave with more knowledge and inspiration, yes, but hopefully you will also leave feeling truly seen and seeing others, making new friends and colleagues that will help sustain you and bring you joy when times are tough. We are with you now, and we will be with you here when we all move forward ahead to accelerate equality. Thank you, muito obrigado, and have a wonderful forum today.